3, 2, 1, and we are live. Good evening, everyone. Tonight we're going to be going through a rundown of how to get a website up and going from scratch. Today we're going to be doing a doctor surgery, and we're going to be putting it together. But before we get started, we're going to go through a few fundamentals of websites. So there's a live chat enabled on the YouTube stream. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out on here, and I'm happy to divert a little and answer any questions that you might have about building websites in general, or the program that I'm going to use to put it all together. So we're going to first go through a bit of fundamentals about websites. Then we're going to go into what it takes to get a business website set up, and then I'm going to do a demo, and that demo should just take a few minutes, and we'll have a fully fledged website online which will do appointments, bookings, house calls for this doctor surgery that we're going to be building it for tonight. After that, if you want some one-on-one support or some Q&A or want to discuss some other further things, I'm happy to do that as well. So when you get your website started, really you want a few things sorted before you go out there ready to bite the bullet. You probably want to start with a domain name. So you want to start with, okay, well, where do I want it? You want somewhere to host it. You want to know which software that you're running it on. You want to have a bit of an idea about your branding and design and some of the content that you've put together before you go and start the website. It just makes the process a lot quicker. And if you're engaging someone to build the website for you, like a developer, it's good to have that documentation there so that they can just go and start building. And then once you have your website live, really you want to be looking at, okay, well, how am I engaging my customers? How am I going about my digital marketing? And we're going to touch on all these points tonight. So a little bit about what happens when you visit a website. So what you have here is you have a domain register. So this is kind of where you start. You start by buying your domain name. Now, a domain name is just an address to a server, and obviously if you are buying your domain name first, you don't really have a server to point it to. And that's what this is up here, your host. So what really needs to happen is you need to know, the internet needs to know actually, that the domain name points to a particular host that has your website on it. Gone are the days where you'd be running a website from a home computer or a home server. Really these days what you're looking at is some kind of outsourced hosting solution. Often you'll be paying a website designer or developer to put it together for you. And this little DNS thing up here, really what it is called domain name services, and this is what hooks your domain name through to your host. And then what happens is when someone goes to visit your business website, they go to your URL, the URL points through to your server, and that server then hands back the web page to Mike's device. So what's the process for kind of getting your website up and going? So first you have to buy a domain. There are many registrars out there, and you just need to Google website registrar and then go after the URL that you're looking for. It might not be available, but there's plenty of options out there to sort you out. Then you'll often need to point your DNS to some kind of name server or a host. If you're going with a pre-packaged solution, a lot of this stuff is already set up for you. So this is really for those people that want to get into the nitty-gritty themselves and set up their own server. Usually you will have to point it to some kind of server address, and this is kind of in that DNS setup. Now, if you're using an out-of-the-box solution or a website generator, which is what I'm going to be demoing later, you don't actually need to set this up. It just comes automatically. Now, with hosting, some people like to go and give it a go and set it up themselves. This can be a long process, and the learning curve can be from 6 months to 12 months. It can take a really long time to actually get a server up and running yourself. A lot of the time you're better off going with someone that's already set it up and outsourcing that step. The other thing you can do, rather than going and setting up your own host, is you can host it with pre-installed software. So you can go and hire a host, and usually they're a monthly cost, and what that'll give you is that will give you a pre-set up hosting that you just pay a monthly subscription for, and that hosts your website. Then you kind of need some software running on that host. So a host is really just a computer that's running some kind of software that gives your customers your website. So you want to choose which kind of software that you're running. A lot of people will go and hire a developer, and a lot of some other people will try to build it themselves. Developers can be expensive, and to build it yourself, you could go and use something like WordPress, Wix, or like the demo is going to show today, ApointB. This is a demo of kind of what a WordPress setup looks like. So this is called a CMS system, a content management system. It has an admin panel. This is where you create your pages, you install plugins, and you get your website up and running. And this is a CMS. So there's a bit more configuration in here, and a lot of the time if you pay a developer, they'll actually build your website on top of a CMS. You can then also have a look at web builders. Web builders are an option where it's a bit of a DIY approach to building your website. So it's good to know a little bit about design, have a bit of an idea of the color schemes that you want, and you can kind of put it together yourself. A lot of these are click and drag these days, so they're pretty easy to use, and they can take a little bit of time to use, maybe a few days, but after that, then you're online. Then you also have out-of-the-box solutions. So we're going to be demoing an out-of-the-box solution today, which is ApointB. Now, ApointB is an out-of-the-box solution that pretty much gives you an instant business website. It's got a few themes that you can choose from, and really it's just what you see is what you get, and you go in and you can click on the words or the images and just change them to what you want to do. It's pretty easy to add features and pages. The out-of-the-box solutions are a much more intuitive solution for building your website. And this is just an example of the different kind of features that you can add to an ApointB website. So rather than going in and installing plugins and themes, really you just kind of select what you want to do with your website, and then it takes you through a bit of a wizard to set it up. So branding and design. So it's always good to have an idea of what your brand is and what your design is going to be before you get started. A lot of this can be outsourced, but know that some designers out there will charge quite a large amount of money for logos and designs. A lot of the out-of-the-box solutions will actually come with a domain and a logo, particularly if you're paying for a premium plan. Like I just said, the design part of it, it's really good to actually be in tune with what is actually working on the internet at the moment, what are the current trends, how do people convert into customers. You don't just want them ending up on your website, having a look and then going somewhere else. You really want to engage them. And one of the advantages of these out-of-the-box solutions is that they're pre-built templates that actually guide the customer through to convert them to a paying customer or making a booking or an appointment, whatever it is that you're looking for. And then the last step is getting some quality images and video. So you really want to be showing that you are a professional brand, and this just takes a bit of work in getting the stock images. The ApointB premium package actually comes with stock images, so you can get started with a package of images, and you already have all your content ready for your website. A little bit about getting people to your website. So as you start your website, there is no such thing as build it and they will come. It takes a little while before Google starts ranking you highly in their search engine, and really the best way to speed this up is to be working on content, to be creating new pages that address those that market that is looking for your service. So you always want to be creating content out there, putting new content on the internet, and trying to engage those customers that are looking for you. Your clients look for other things more often than they're looking for your brand in particular. So you really want to be targeting those customers who may be looking for something that involves your business. So say a doctor's surgery, the customers might be looking for a certain symptom. They might be Googling a certain disease. They might be looking up at comparisons for local doctor surgeries in Sydney, and you really want to be capturing that market and want to be ranking highly within Google for those. Now, when you're breaking down your digital marketing, you really want to break it down into campaigns. Now, a campaign is a targeted, focused branch of marketing. So for each kind of customer segment that you have, you want a campaign. This may be even something, if it's flu season, you might want to do a campaign around flu season. And this is just a focused marketing efforts, and that's what you call a campaign. So you can pick your channels, maybe Facebook ads, Google, LinkedIn, Twitter. It depends where your customers are, and it's a really good idea to focus your campaigns where your customers are looking for this information. And then finally, you want to have a good web presence. So you want to have something that your customers can find, and you want to be ranking highly. You want to have a nice website that converts well, that ranks highly. And this can take a bit of work, particularly on the DIY approach. The out-of-box solutions, a lot of them handle this and will have SEO options in there for you. So a little bit about various ways to build. So you can code it yourself. But this can really take a long time, and I just recommend this if you're doing a hobby project and you're actually interested in coding. If you want to hire developers, this can take a little while. There's a bit of scoping involved. You have to know really who you're hiring, how to hire them. You want to make sure you're getting quality work done, but this can cost several $1,000s. And if you want to build some larger project that isn't just a website, then you'll probably have to go and hire even more developers. The website frameworks, now these can take for 3 to 10 weeks. It can take several $1,000s to set up, and often people will still contact a developer to outsource this for them. And this is where a lot of the businesses have been going and getting their website built from over the last maybe 10 years. Then web builders. So web builders have been quite popular for the last about 5 years, and this is things like Wix and Squarespace, where you can sign up, design it yourself, drag and drop functionality. You can kind of pick what you want to do. It can take a few days to get set up, but if you're solidly working on it full time, you could probably get it done in about a week. And then you have web generators. So these are like instant websites. We're going to demo one shortly, and really these ones are plug and play. You sign up, you have a website, and you can demo it, and your customers can see it straight away. So now I'm going to get into the exercise where I'm going to actually build a doctor's surgery website. Live, I'm going to go through it step by step and just explain what I'm doing, what I've done prior, and kind of how it all comes together. Now, if you want to follow on, you can go to www.ApointB.com. And you can fill out the template along with me. If you want to reach out after, I'm happy to assist, and you can reach me on support@ApointB.com or Sean@ApointB.com. Alright, so I've actually already gone over to ApointB.com, and you can just Google that if you're not there already, or you can just type it into your address bar. Now, I just set up an account just before I started this, where I just logged in so I didn't have to go through the registration process. But if you are going through the registration process, it's actually pretty quick. You can just click continue with Facebook, continue with Google. If you have one of these already logged in on your browser, it'll just go straight through and your website will be there ready for you to play with. If you're coming in for the first time, click on Start Free, and I'm going to log in now, and then we'll get building the website. So what you'll notice about the ApointB platform is these three menus up here are your navigation items. You can see here website settings, you can connect a domain, add feature, you can take your website offline, or you can change the theme. But really, the bulk of it sits within here, which is the website editor. And this is what your website looks like. So this is, if we see here, we've got sydneyclinicdoctors.apointb.com. So they actually choose a subdomain based on the username that you enter, and you can go into your settings and change this. But what we might do actually is jump in and see new private window, paste it in here. You'll see that the website's actually live. So as soon as we've signed up, we've already got our website. It's live on the internet, but it doesn't have much content, and that's okay. We can go in and fix that. So what I've done before I got started here is I went and I've picked out some nice photos. It's always good to have some photos ready for the design process. I might do it with the teddy bear. Let it upload. Now you can see here that it's pretty simple. It's just click, upload, and it gets added to your website straight away. If you have an existing website, you might even have some content already put together. You might have a website title or a name. I've put that together already, so I'm just going to add it in there. And I've already got a profile summary, which I prepared earlier as well. Again, if you already have a website, you might already have this, and you can just add your current content over. If you have some brochures or you don't yet have a website, again, you can just go in, take the content from that, and add it to this. So this is coming together now. We might add a logo as well. Let it upload. Again, if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out on the live chat. Okay, so it's starting to come together. I might add an about section. And at this point, I'm going to jump over to what we saw before. And I'm going to just refresh. And you'll see that my website's starting to take shape now. Still looking a little bare, so we'll jump back over and we'll add an address. So click to add location. Just going to paste the address in here. Yep, that's the one. Click save. And we can go over to our customer view and we can check it out here. Okay, starting to look good. So currently they can send you a message, customers can reach out and contact you, and if you go back to the dashboard, you'll see there's a little messages icon here, and that's where the messages come through. But I don't have any messages yet. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to add bookings, appointments, so that you can accept payments on your website. So up here there's an add feature button, and it takes you down here and you can choose one of these. So I might start with a home visit, travel to customer. So what I might add is an at-home doctor visit. Just upload an image. Can take a second, particularly when you're streaming. And I'll go health and fitness. Tagline. I'm actually just going to keep copying this. Of course, if you have the content there, you want this the best that you can. Oops. Now, I've already prepared a little bit of content for this listing. I'm just going to make it a little bit informative. Click on here, paste it in, and press save. Now, I'm going to go in and I'm going to make a booking duration. So given that this is an at-home visit, I'll let the customer think about how much time they're going to need, but I'm going to set a maximum at about an hour and a half. Of course, you can tailor these to suit what you need. Now, we can do free bookings or we can do paid bookings. So given that I want to demonstrate how easy it is to get payment set up, I'll make this a paid booking. So maybe I'll make it $50 per hour. And I'll go the same. So what you do here is you set your address where you're traveling from, and then you'll see if I zoom out, I have a nice circle going around, and you can set the radius up here. I'm going to press save, and publish. So if I go over to the website and I press refresh, you'll see now that I have an appointment booked for $50. I can go in, I can see all the information I just put in there, the list that I entered. I'm going to go check dates and book. Now, we haven't added any dates yet. So if a customer comes through and you haven't yet added any dates, what will actually happen is they will get a request booking form, and you'll actually get a message saying that someone has come through and tried to book it, but you didn't have any available dates. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to edit this booking, and we're going to go through. We've already set the location. We're going to go to availability. So I'm going to make the availability Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Add. And you can see here that they've added to my calendar. It's defaulted to set me up for a month. So you can see here it's set it up for the trailing part of this month and next month. You can just change the dates up here if you like. When I set my account up before, I've set up my payment options. So if you're taking payments online, you just need to set up a bank account so that you can get paid out when a payment is made. The promote tab, it has the URL to your listing, to your booking form. And if you want to pre-apply a coupon, you can see that there's a coupon amount up here, and you can pre-apply it to the URL. So what I might do, I'll go back and I'll show what that looks like from the customer point of view. So we go in, check dates and book, and you can see here that now I have available dates. Now I've got pop-ups blocked in this private mode, so it might not go through to the payment section, but let's say I'm booking for an hour, set a meeting point. So this is where you can just look up your address. Oops. Oh, that will have to be, rather than doing that, I'm actually just going to set up another booking form. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the website. It seems there's a little bit of an issue with the entering address. That'll be fixed by tomorrow, I'm sure. So let's go in and add another one-on-one session, and this will be just your general consultation for the doctor's website. So again, just going through the process, putting some information in, uploading the image, and I'll put a bit of a description in. You can see on the other listing that it will pull over some of your formatting if you've already got some formatting. This time I'm just going to leave it without the formatting. I'm going to make this a half an hour booking. So I'm going to let people book in for half an hour. If you want to accept multiple bookings across a day, so you want to say take 10 people an hour, you can set that up by setting up something that like a workshop or event where you're actually opening it up for up to 10 people within each hour. I'm actually going to make this free, and this will just collect bookings for me. Save that, publish that, view listing. Okay, so now if we go back into the customer view, we refresh, we'll see now that there's 2. And we'll see if we can go in, book it in, and we have an add dates. So we'll go back and go to my ApointB, go down to the one that you want to add dates to, click on edit, availability, and then we'll set it up for, again, 9 to 5. add, and then, well, for this one's a free booking, so they're not going to have the payments, and you don't really need the coupons. But we'll save this, go back to my ApointB, log in from the client. So we'll just refresh this page, and from a customer's point of view, book free consultation. So if you add 0, it marks it as a free consultation. Put the date in, choose the time, half an hour, choose the location. Now I've got pop-ups blocked here, and when your users go to sign up, they'll actually, when they go to make a booking rather, they'll actually sign up to your website. This is to prevent any spam bookings or anyone just coming in and messing around with your system. So they sign up with one click, and then they can complete the booking. If you do have payments enabled, they'll actually go through to step 3, which is a payment step. So that'll take their credit card details, and you can take the payments online. The other thing that's quite nice about this, and this is unlike a lot of those do-it-yourself web builders, is that you can change the theme of the website instantly. So here I've got the professional theme. I can go in and I can apply the cappuccino theme. Now if I go to the customers view and I press refresh, you'll see here that it's a very different layout. Different colors, larger banner. The logo's changed position. This is all centered, and you can just straight go back in, change it again. I actually quite like this fractal theme. Go in, refresh, and that's how easy it is to update your website. That's it for today. If you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out at support.apointb.com. Otherwise, you can go and check it out yourself, play around with it, get a website up in just a number of minutes. Thanks all for listening to the live stream today. I hope you got something out of it. Look forward to seeing you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, and our channel has a bunch of other videos around setting up other types of websites. Hope to hear from you soon. Have a good night.